Right from a young age, it has always been a passion that everyone around me should smile. I like seeing everybody around me happy. I like to see people do things, but that's how my mother was. I went into politics, not because I wanted to be a politician. It was not what I was thinking about. But I didn't want decisions made on our behalf, and we didn't have an impact.
There is so much heated argument about Kemi Badenoch. Most Nigerians are afraid of what will happen in terms of their vision, their dreams. In your own perspective, what do you think about what Kemi is suggesting?
It's a suggestion. It's not come to law yet. We also have to remember that everybody sees things from a different perspective. But at the end of the day, nobody's stopping you from doing what you need to do. You've come from Nigeria. It didn't work. That is why you've migrated. There are parameters which you have to follow. And if the parameters is that you have to be in America for 15 years before you become a citizen, then that's fine.
But what do the UK people think about Nigerians?
The UK people?
Yeah.
Who are the
UK citizens?
Who are the UK citizens?
That's another thing. With the UK citizens, some Nigerians are part of the UK citizens, right?
I'm a UK
okay, whites perceive Nigerians in terms of activities towards, becoming somebody here.
I don't see them. I focus on what I am supposed to do. I was the first black councillor in the whole of NIDO. The person that brought me into the Conservative Party is an Englishman, Chris Buckler. He came to knock on my door and said, what party are you? I said, I'm Lib Dem. He said, Lib Dem, no, this, you have to join our party. Chris will come into my house and sit and eat jollof rice. He's a white man. I was an English guy, you say it. He didn't discriminate against me. He would cut the grass of my house when I first moved in. You're not going to like everybody. Everybody's not going to like you. Focus on you. Do what makes you happy. If we're allowed, we're allowed. Nobody can stop us from dressing up. That's who we are. Nobody stops us from buying a nice car because we love cars. Nigerians are flashy. Nigerians are loud. We are not going to change. They accept us or they lump it. End of story.
All right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to another episode of Duanuk. Duanuk is the diary of a Nigerian in the UK. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important personality for the podcast today. In fact, I want to tell you that there are three kinds of people on earth, and by extension, in the United Kingdom. These three sets of people, the first set of people is those who watch things happen. The second set of people is the set of people that make things happen, while the third set of people are the set of people that I don't want to talk about, but I have to talk about them. They will tell you what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, today I have one of the set of people that make things happen. He is a father. He is a councillor with the Isle of Grain Parish Council. In fact, he ventured into politics in 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a passionate leader, and that is why he is also the leader or the chairman of NIDO. NIDO is Nigerian in Diaspora Organization in Europe. I can go on and on and on. He's a man of impact and that loves to create impact amongst people. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Harold Ogunfemi.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if somebody meets me on the street and asks me, who is Harold Ogunfemi? What do you think I should tell them?
Very good question. Tell them Harold Ogunfemi, as you said, is a councillor of Isle of Grain, a child of God, a dedicated husband, a hardworking Nigerian that loves his people, and an entrepreneur as he is. I think that sums it up.
Yes, that is a summary of it, but I wanted to expound on that background. How do you become the person you are today?
Okay. I was born here in United Kingdom. Went to Nigeria when I was 5. Yeah, I went to Nigeria when I was 5. Did my primary school in Nigeria, Command Junior School in Ikeja. Okay. Then went to Command Secondary School in Ibadan. And when I finished, I didn't have the best of the best grades, so it was time for me to run away before my father made me sit down and do my maths exam again because I had F9 in maths. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. That's another story for another day.
Yeah.
So came back to United Kingdom in 1991. Went to college in the UK here. I went to City of Westminster College. I went to do my BTech National Diploma in Business Studies. From there, I went to do my degree, and I did my professional exams there and there. When I finished, my minister brother said, let me pay for your masters, and go and do your masters and go and do other things and blah, blah, blah. But at that point in time, education was not that what I wanted to focus on like that. I had done the basic requirements, as my mom and dad would say.
Okay.
Everyone in my family has a doctorate. I'm the only one that doesn't. And I said, no, that's not what I want to do. I wanted to go and work. I wanted to make money, and I wanted to run my own business. They didn't agree. My middle son brother is of that school of thought that you have to get to the height of your game before you go into work and all that stuff.
Okay.
They have it. I said no, and that's how I started my life as Harold Ogunfemi. My dad had altogether 6 children. No, actually 7 children actually. My mom had 4 boys. So I grew up with 4. In the midst of four boys. So my 2 brothers who are older than I am, one is a doctor and one is as an engineer, but is diversified into corporate now. And my younger brother, who's an accountant, who's in Nigeria right now. I have a stepbrother, but we don't do step in my family, who's passed on now to glory, and then 2 younger sisters who are my half sisters, but like I said, we don't do step. They're my sisters. So yeah, that's who Harold Ogunfemi is.
Wow. Okay, I was going through your profile and I discovered that you have this passion for people's life, people's everyday life, and to create impact. So what have you done within, your space of influence and within the trajectory of, your career and vision to be able to achieve this?
Okay. Right from a young age, it has always been a passion that everyone around me should smile. When I was young, I had an uncle who used to come to our house every weekend. And when he was going home, he would give us those minted notes, and he would give me 1 extra. And I don't know why he did that, but he used to call me Happy Boy. I like seeing everybody around me happy. I like to see people do things, but that's how my mother was. My dad is a disciplinarian. My dad is strong. My dad would help everybody, but my dad is very strict. My mother cannot see.
Was he a military guy?
He was worse than a military guy. My mom would not see a person that cannot eat and walk past. It was never. So that's how we all grew up to have that in us. And for me, it was I felt that right from a young age, whatever I was blessed with, everyone around me should benefit from it. And that is how that's how I started. And I brought that to United Kingdom. I went into politics, not because I wanted to be a politician. It was not what I was thinking about. But I didn't want decisions made on our behalf, and we didn't have an impact. And what brought me into politics was actually a particular time I had a member of the public in Grace then was arrested and was taken to the police station because some girl accused him of rape. And they just didn't like him. They just didn't like them because it was a black Nigerian guy who couldn't speak too good English, was fixing up his van, was sitting in his van, and the girl started to insult him. They were throwing things at him whilst he was doing his engine. And he shouted back at them, and she just went to report him to the police. Now, those kind of issues are very serious issues, but we felt that this didn't happen. So we went to the police station. Nobody was there. I was told about it. I was in my store there. I was told about it. I thought, okay. The man came back to me and said, oh, they still locked this guy in the police station. So I picked up myself and I went to the station. That was my first ever time. I went to the police station and I said, why is this man being left here? It's not fair. And he said, who am I? I said, I'm a member of the public. Fought the case eventually. I called 999. Then they got the superintendent to call us back. We came, checked. It's okay. When we saw, they said they wanted to interview the guy, and the guy wanted me to be there. So when I saw him, the guy was in engine oil. Oh, this is engine oil over your body. Okay, can we ask? But apparently everybody knows the girl in the area that she causes trouble and she fights everybody. So why is he being locked up for this long? Have you done your investigation? Apparently they knew that he didn't do it, but there was nobody to advocate for him. So we eventually got the case. They released him that night. When I got home, I called him and said, well, they've released you. Yes, good, happening. What's happened now? He said they released him on condition. I said, why? He said, oh, in case they do any investigations. I said, no. Let's go back. So we went back to the station, and I said, no, this was not going to happen. This guy does not know his left from right because it's just got here.
Oh, yeah.
He does not understand English that well because I had to translate. I said, no, it's either you release him or you charge him. And eventually they dropped the case finally and told him to go.
Wow. So your case, as far as politics is concerned, is what we call back home as Sorosuke.
That kind of a thing.
You
Yes. Yes. It was for me to stand for my people, but also not just my people, it's also to stand for the right thing. You know, in United Kingdom, you stand for what you stand for, and people respect you for that. All the politicians, the prime minister, and all the people that you see, they didn't just come into politics because they enjoyed it. They came into politics because they wanted to see a difference, and that was my form of seeing a difference, and that's how I came into politics.
That's great. I'm even shocked to know that Nigerians that come into the UK, right, can be able to venture into politics. Most of them don't know. They just feel everything is difficult. If a Nigerian wants to actually venture into politics here in the United Kingdom, how will he do that?
Okay, so everybody has, this is United Kingdom. Everybody has the rights of exercise and the rights to be a member of a political party. I have friends in the political party. For example, in the church I used to go to before, because of distance. Yeah. There's a man called Akinyedu. Okay. He was one of us. There's Onimole, who is one of us, who's a politician. Where I was in Grace, there's
Akinyedu, you say?
Yes, Akinyedu.
Oh yeah.
And then there's another guy called Okpe. Okay. There's a few people who are Nigerians who have ventured into politics. Gloria Okpara, who was once the deputy mayor. There's Habib Tijan, who is not English, but he comes from Sierra Leone, but he was the first black mayor in Medway. We had Ugui, Councillor Ugui, who was a councillor in Medway as well. So everybody can become a politician. However, you have to have a passion for it. Okay. It's not, don't go into politics because you want to make money. You're wasting your time. You have to go into politics because you have something to offer and you want a difference. The first step is for you to register to join a party. So go and read the manifestos of all those parties: Labour Party, Conservative Party, Reform, Lib Dem. Read the one that aligns with you and aligns with your own personal values. Yeah. You sign up, and then you start to follow the process. One day you can tell them, you know what, I want to stand for a seat. And if they find you worthy to stand for that, credible, you go through the process. That's it. If you get voted for in your area, then you become a councillor. To go into politics is not as bad or as hard as we see it. And it doesn't matter if you're a degree holder or a doctor or a banker, you can go into politics. There was a mayor in Essex, in Thurrock before. He was a taxi driver, and he became the mayor. So it's not about how big you're out there or how small you're. It's about you and what you're going to dedicate to your party and how you want to work in the space of politics.
Just like the Gen Zs now, or the young ones, even in the UK, even my son and most of them, I hear they tell you it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. It's not that deep at all. Okay. And also with your Gen Zs, tell them to go and join the youth parliament. There's some youth parts of each political party and each council. Let them join. Let them start to know. Let them start to have influence. Let them start to talk about things and start to make decisions that will affect them or impact them in the nearest future.
Yeah. Okay. Let's delve a little bit into career. Now, most people that come into the United Kingdom, I see that they struggle a lot to be able to either accomplish their vision in terms of career now, or some drop it and just move into something else. And some come and they begin to do what they did not plan to do. Right. If we were to reset you now and you are arriving in the United Kingdom now, based on the experience you already have, how would you go through, that trajectory?
I would do the same thing I've done before.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I'm saying. When we're growing up, especially as Nigerians, your dad or your mom says, you're going to be a doctor.
Okay.
And a lot of us follow that path that, yes, we have to be a doctor. And you see some people have gone through that trajectory of becoming a doctor, and then they get to a particular level and they find, I love music. I don't like seeing blood. I don't like seeing needles. But because my dad and my mom said you have to be a lawyer or a doctor, I had to do that. There's something that God has built in us, all of us. All of us have, these 5 fingers are not equal, but they are all useful.
Wow, I like that. 5 fingers are not equal, but are useful.
Every finger has its own usefulness. So me not being a doctor does not mean I will not achieve my dream in life. Okay. Now, I have a degree in business studies. I only worked with my degree for 2 years. I've been out of the employment market for the last 24 years. Have I had challenges? Yes, I've looked back. But most of the time, God has kept me to where I am, and I'm still running that business and I'm doing other things. So when people come from Nigeria, if you want to become a doctor, face what you want to become. But you have to think in your mind, what do you enjoy doing?
Okay.
There is a career and there's career. And there's passion. So for example, if you like to paint a house and you have a degree in law, as it might be, or you have an LLB, if your passion is painting this house, go for your passion.
Okay.
Get your career to a particular level and go for your passion. You can do both on the side.
Okay.
A typical example, and a few people who are around me know, another member of our church that I talked to, he will tell you, I have a child. I have a son, a particular one. I have all of them in my house. I have 6 children. Not because I wanted to have 6 children. We just didn't have TV and heating, so we were making babies. And then
no, it's okay. 6 is just half a dozen.
Exactly.
It's not the full dozen.
Once we bought our TV and we stopped having children. So that was it. Anyway, he got to a stage where they said to him, one of them said he had dyslexia. He was dyslexia. Okay. He cannot pass the stage of second year in secondary school. He cannot go beyond that in his educational life. What my Nigerian dad taught me that there is nothing you cannot achieve. So far you have the heart to do it. And I said to him, you're not dyslexic. When you eat chicken, you don't put it in your nose. You put it in your mouth. Yes? You know how to count that there's 5 pieces of chicken in the pot and you can take 3 and eat it. So you will learn how to do things. And we went through that struggle. And it got into his head that he also felt that, okay, I'm dyslexia. I cannot do some certain things. And I kept on saying to him, no, it's not going to happen in my house. Not because we will not find remedy for it and will not try and help you. But you also have to have it your mindset that you have to achieve. What do you enjoy doing? Now, I was not expecting him to have a doctorate degree. But the minimum he had to have was a degree and then focus on his passion. Today he's a degree holder. Today he has his own job and he works in a very good sector, career sector. But also he's an athlete. Which is what I was as well. I used to run before. And I ran for British League. But he, at one point in time...
tell me about it. You ran for...
I ran for British League in United Kingdom. Yeah, I ran for British League. I used to train with the likes of John Ridges, in Battersea Park, and Linford Crystal Palace. And I ran up to Division 4 British League with a record of 10.4. Wow. Before it was time, I was already putting on weight. I was enjoying life. I was not disciplined, so I had to go.
And maybe age too?
It depends on when you start. But by the time I got into athletics, it was a bit late because, I didn't go through the ranks of it, so I didn't go through the training. I had organizations who were paying me to run. But for example, my son started his own since secondary school, since actually end of primary school into secondary school. Barakin's children as well, like I said, the 2 girls and the boy also going there and into athletics.
I need to bring that.
You need to, he's another disciplined Nigerian who is very down to earth. But his children also are in the athletics field today, and they're all doing well. Okay. The country gives you the skills and the abilities, helps you with your skills and the abilities to progress. So when you're coming from Nigeria, don't come in the mindset that, it's already hard. It's what you think that happens.
Wow.
You have to see beyond that. Yes, there is nowhere in the world that is easy, but you need to plan what you want for yourself in life. I tell people when people say, what do you do? I tell them I sell gari and kuli. But that's what I do. Yes? Regardless of my political, whatever, and all the other business I do. On a daily basis, I sell gari and kuli.
Buying and selling?
Yes, I bring in my own food from Nigeria and I sell it. People have made millions from that. If you go and look, you could go online and see. The Asian community has gone into Nigeria. They're selling our food and they're doing very well with it. Why?
Well, those guys are
because they are business minded. Not all of them have degrees. Yes, none of them are doctors. Not all of them are nurses. You look at builders today. You see a plumber who has made serious money because he has used his hand skills to achieve. What we do as Nigerians, we're tight. We think because we want to be a doctor. Then I see Mr. J, he's a doctor, and I'm thinking, wow, I want to wear suits to work every day. Maybe you don't have to wear suits to be a millionaire. Look at.
You don't have to wear a suit to be a millionaire.
Look at Richard Branson today. Look at his educational life, and so many other entrepreneurs who have made it in life. I'm not saying education is not good. Some people have made very great things in education, but you should identify who you are, what you want to become, and how you get to where you are.
So that means there is always that battle now between passion and career.
Yes, there is.
Which a fresh person coming into the country should know how to manage and balance.
Yes,
right?
100%.
So that
but the most important thing out of all of that, and I'm not being religious, is the blessings of the Most High God upon
Tell me about it.
There is nothing you become without God. Don't let us overflow religion. Let's identify yourself with the Most High God.
Okay.
You know, there are different religions out there, but your faith, what you believe in, always comes to pass. Whatever you achieve is because God has allowed you to see the next day.
Wow.
Your alarms, like I said earlier, your alarms are not stronger than anybody else's alarm. So because your alarm woke you up does not mean you're stronger than the person that died yesterday. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's the grace of God upon your life. And every time that you wake up and you shake your legs and all your organs are working, it must be a fruitful day for you. No day is wasted. Things are changing by the day. But one thing is constant. The Most High God stands with you once you can identify yourself with him.
Fantastic. Now, I really, most Nigerians, when they come to this town, there is usually, back home, there's this slogan, fake it till you make it. Now, in my own perspective, people come here, they want to start taking pictures, showing them back home that I'm in London or I'm in, they want to make sure that the house is sophisticated. They want to live in the best place and all that. What is your advice in terms of, commencing your settlement?
Okay. Who is fooling who? Yeah. When I was growing up, my mom used to say something. Those days that I would take something and I would lie that I didn't take it. My mom would say, which means that two people don't fall for the lies. One is either lying and knows that he's lying, or the other one that you're telling the lie to knows you're lying but has kept quiet.
My goodness.
Yes. So when you come into this country, you pick up pictures and you're deceiving everybody on social media. You're not deceiving them. You're deceiving yourself because you know the reality.
Yeah.
Now, some people have come in and it has worked so easy for them.
Okay.
Some people have come in and it has not been that easy. Yes. Why have you come to United Kingdom? Yes. Some of our mates in Nigeria are doing far better than some of us here in the United Kingdom. It's where you place yourself. It's where God wants you to be.
Oh yeah, where God wants you to be.
But when you get into United Kingdom, and even in business, I tell people, don't let the flashy things of life derail you. Because once you start to think about the Lexus, the BMW, or the house, and all those things, it derails you from a lot of things. I have a few set of friends. We travel together.
Okay.
And until you either ask them what they do or what sector of business they are, you will not know that every one of them have done very well for themselves. But you know what? They don't wear designer gears. They're not interested in that. So somebody that comes in today and you're still cleaning, you're still working in a cleaning outfit, which is not bad because I ran a cleaning outfit and I did. And you want to start showing off next to a BMW, you've already lost your mind. Why? Because you are focusing on the wrong thing. Pray, focus on your day, plan your day, tick off what you have done that day. Have I achieved everything I wanted to achieve that day? Sometimes you don't. So even some weeks you don't. But the point is that you have a trajectory of where you are going and work towards that. You see, when you are trying to please the general public or you're trying to show off to people who you are, you're not showing off to anybody. You're only deceiving yourself. I have a friend, and I keep on talking about Akedo, but I have a friend. Akedo would not, you would never know where he works. Well, you know where he works, but you never know what position. Now, it is not my business to say what salary bracket is in, but it's one Nigerian that is at a very different height of his game. Yeah, I have my middle senior brother is the same. But both of them are different. When you see my middle senior brother, you know that, okay, he's made money. When you see Akedo, sometimes you just think,
will not know, right?
Well, where does this guy work? But he invited myself and Councillor Okpe to his office one day, and I was shocked. He invited us they had an event, the event was for dinner. We went there, and seeing this same guy that I see every day as a president in a big, massive bank, African Development Bank, I was thinking,
okay, African Development,
really? And since that day, my way of seeing him was different. But that's because I had an insight to his life.
Mm.
Everybody else that saw him out there thought, who is he? You know, he doesn't drive a luxury car. He's not interested. Not because he cannot afford it, but he's not interested. But you see people that he has employed, or that he would employ 3 times over from his own salary, drive a bigger car than his. What does that mean? He's focused. He knows where he's going. All the things of flashy things of life has not bothered him. But would he buy a Bentley or Rolls Royce tomorrow? Yes, he will. Because that time will come where he has achieved and accomplished what he needs to achieve. And those things, those flashy things of life do not really matter. They don't define who he is. The problem a lot of us as Nigerians have is that those flashy things of life define us. Even whilst we're in Nigeria. Do you know who I am?
That do you know who I am mentality.
You shake your key so that they know you drive a Mercedes Benz. It doesn't. Who is fooling who?
Who's fooling who?
If I drive a Honda and you drive a Mercedes Benz and you go and take yours on finance, am I the one paying your bill? It's not me. So my point is, the flashy things of life are good, but focus on where you are going. When you get to a particular place in your career trajectory, all those things will fall into place. So I have a junior friend. When I started buying properties my first property I bought in 1999.
Okay.
So, and I started my store in 2000. And I had a younger friend who used to come to me. I call him Baba Biji. We were very, very friendly. And I said, well, why you not investing in property? He said, boy, I can't. I said, why not? He said, I've just come in and I'm settling down. I said, no, this is the time to buy.
Wow.
I said, why? He said, no. I said, it means that he cannot owe money. I said, no, guy, let's try. The guy bought the first house. Then he was driving the truck of Royal Mail. And he bought the first house then. And it was just under £50,000 then.
Okay.
And he was enjoying himself. And I said, let's invest more. And we talk a lot. He said, no, he doesn't want to owe money. Today, because of time, I don't want to go through that whole story. Today, I think he has 2 properties. And those 2 properties are paid for. Now, I have gone into property. I won't say that I have X, Y, Z, but I have more properties than he has. And I cannot tell you I've finished paying for any of mine. He's paid for his. Now, that is what suits him. He didn't want to owe money. He couldn't get into that sphere of, I owe a lot of money. So he bought the first property, 50,000, he paid it off. Yeah. He bought the second one, he paid it off. Now he does not work for anybody. He drives a black cab. He enjoys himself. That is him. For me, I wanted to buy one property, take the money out of that one, buy the next one, and move on. We are different. Yeah. If he was looking at the way I was going to do things, he would have gotten himself into trouble. If I was looking at the way he was doing things, maybe I would have not acquired some of the things I've acquired. What works for everybody is different. So don't look at Mr. J and look how Mr. J is living and go and start working like Mr. J. You would kill yourself. So focus on what you have come in to do. It is not going to be easy. Nobody promised you that life was going to be easy. But go into it, focus on what you want to do. Because somebody lives in a 5-bed house and you live in a 3-bed house does not make you any different from him. Some people are higher up there, some people are in the middle, some people are lower. We are all human beings, just like the 5 fingers.
5 fingers.
Focus on what is
important. Please say it again. 5 fingers
are not equal, but they are all useful.
Okay. Can you a little bit, because in this country, I can see that there's a perspective of the United Kingdom citizens. I need to call them out here now because, we came to this town, right? And of course, it's not as if we are not contributing. It's a mutually beneficial relationship anyway. But what is the perspective, or what do the UK people think about Nigerians?
The UK people?
Yeah.
Who are the UK people?
Citizens.
Who are the UK citizens?
That's another thing. Good UK citizens. I've seen some Nigerians that are part of the UK citizens, right?
I'm a UK citizen.
Whites, for instance, now. What is their... Okay, I'll give you this perspective. You go to certain offices and you see some blacks working there, right? Nigerians for let me narrow it down. And you see some white, they'll say that these people, they are too loud or they are too, you understand? So what's in your own perspective or what you have heard, how do the white people perceive Nigerians in terms of activities towards, becoming somebody here?
I don't see them. I don't see them.
Okay.
I focus on what I am supposed to do. When people shout about racism, it happens.
Okay.
But also, where we are from Nigeria, sometimes there's tribalism.
Okay. Yeah.
Where some certain cultures don't get to some certain cultures because of, they're competing themselves. You don't come. You have left your country to come into United Kingdom.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
In any right-minded person, you can't come and dominate a country that is not yours. Now, but the country, United Kingdom, embraces you. And I must say this: United Kingdom is one of the most liberal countries in the world that accepts people from everywhere.
Yeah.
Now,
That's true.
you are not going to everybody's not going to like you. Even as black people, we don't like ourselves all through. As Nigerians, we don't like ourselves all through. Do you understand? Even in the whole family setup, you'll have one person that does not really get on with the other person. We put it in our minds that, they don't like us. Why are you worrying about what they like or what they don't like? Focus on yourself now. And focus on your.
So we shouldn't
your life.
generalize, right?
You can't. So let's look at it for an example. We are here in Medway. On your street, maybe there are 3 or 4 black people here. They've not stopped you from buying your house.
No, yeah.
They've not stopped you from driving your car. They might think, what does he do? That's not your business. You focus on what you do. You focus on what you're doing. In my work, I was the first black councillor even though I was parish, first black councillor in the whole of Medway. The person that brought me into the Conservative Party is an Englishman, Chris Bockwell. He came to knock on my door and said, what party are you? I said, I'm Lib Dem. He said, Lib Dem, no, this, you have to join our party. Chris will come into my house and sit and eat jollof rice. Yeah? He's a white man. Or as an English guy, you say it. Yeah?
Yeah.
He didn't discriminate against me. He would cut the grass of my house when I first moved in. I was the only black, my family was the only black family in my whole set of the village. And all the people that were around me looked after my house. Would cut my grass, would tell me what was happening. It's how you relate to some people. You're not going to like everybody. Everybody's not going to like you. Focus on you. Do what makes you happy. If we're loud, we're loud. Nobody can stop us from dressing up. That's who we are. Nobody stops us from buying a nice car because we love cars. Nigerians are flashy. Nigerians are loud. We are not going to change. They accept us or they lump it. End of story.
Wow, that's great. Okay, I will still come back to this this topic, so to speak. However, I want us to talk a little bit about your leadership skills, right? Your leadership passion, as the case may be. You are the chairman of NIDO. What's NIDO?
Nigeria in Diaspora Organization Europe.
Yeah. So what?
So Nigerian Diaspora NIDO was formed. The initiative came from General Olusegun Obasanjo.
Oh, okay.
In his regime, and wanted those of us in diaspora to mingle with those of them in Nigeria.
Okay.
To bring in our skills together.
Okay.
So it was a skill, so your professional skills, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer,
okay.
We were sending money home and all of that stuff.
Okay.
You are here, how can you impact Nigeria? How can Nigeria impact? So that's how NIDO was formed.
Okay.
NIDO has been around since 2002, or 2001 into 2002. So I joined NIDO about just over 4 years ago. And I went in there because I wanted to give back to my country and to my people. I sell food. So I see what we do in Nigeria, I see what we do here. And that was what NIDO wanted. NIDO wanted to bring professionals together. Okay. Wanted to bring, great minds together where we can all work together and do greater things back and give back to Nigeria and, let Nigeria's flag continue to fly.
Yeah.
And that's why I joined NIDO. I joined NIDO UK South, which was a part of NIDO. So NIDO has 23 countries over it. So NIDO Europe has 23 countries. So there's NIDO Africa, there's NIDO Asia, there's NIDO Americas and all that stuff. Okay. So when I joined, I just joined as a member and I was just doing my own thing, learning the ropes, seeing what people were doing, giving my own quota. Come last year, the year before, I actually declared that I wanted to stand as the chairman. Now, a lot of people saw that and thought, wow, that's very ambitious, where you have not been the chairman of your chapter, which is UK. You have not even an executive in your chapter, even though I have been in many committees, both in the chapter and in Europe. Okay. So you have to follow these ranks. And that is what I said about, even amongst us, we don't like ourselves. And you have to follow these ranks. But I didn't see it like that. I just thought, well, as far as the constitution says, you have to be in the organization in Europe for 3 years. You can stand as a chairperson going to the executive. So I went for it. There was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of issues. Even till now, there's a few issues. But because some people believed in my abilities and the skills that I've shown, I've run projects. I've made sure that those projects worked. In the last 20-something years, we have not really seen a lot. Last year, I was the head of, the year before I was the head of a project committee.
Okay.
We went back to Nigeria and we had a bit of decent impact. Last year, when we went to Nigeria, we actually did a lot more than has happened in about 12 years. We set up some boreholes in some areas that they were deprived of water. We refurbished a health center and equipped it. So we went to Nigeria strong, and people were shocked and they were happy that I was part of that. Okay. And the rest is history.
But is there support from the relevant authorities back home in Nigeria?
Yes. Oh, yes. We work with NIDCOM, which is headed by the CEO, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa.
Okay.
Last week, I'm sure some of you have seen the pictures online. I was with the Senate, the chairman of the Senate Committee for Diaspora, Senator Natasha. Yeah. I was with her last week, and she laid out what she wanted to see us do. Nigeria wants you to bring great things back home. Wherever you are in the world, you are still a Nigerian, regardless of what anybody says. And because you are not in Nigeria, does not mean you should forget Nigeria. Nigerians are doing great exploit. Who who even thought those days that Nigeria, Nollywood, will get to where Nollywood is? Look at our musicians today, our artists today. Look at yourself. There's so many great Nigerians in different sectors in the world. Be it medical, onto transportation. I ran a cleaning business before. If you know Discount Car Hire, I was part of Discount Car Hire. I'm an entrepreneur myself. There's so many Nigerians doing great things, but we should not forget. And Nigerian government, even under the current president, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, he has also said his Renew Hope agenda. It's for the youth. It's for us. It's for the diaspora. It's for us to do great things. So Nigeria is ready for you if you want to do great things. And any country that you are in, Europe spends a lot of money in Nigeria. There's European funds for things back home. African Development Bank, where Bracken works there. Even these guys I travel with, Akin Tomori, and we have a Nigerian, Dayo Taiwo, who's the director of DT&T with his wife. A big money transfer organization. They're a bank right now in London here. There's so many things that they can do in Nigeria. They're great people. I have these guys, we travel together. So there's myself, Ake Onumole, Ake Tomori, Keishonowo, Kunle Popola, all of those guys. HRH, we call him HRH.
He's Royal.
Yeah, he's Royal. Mr. Astrop, all of those guys together. Afis, Lasisi.
But not to take words out of your mouth.
They are all great people who are in different sectors.
Okay.
And we come together, we plan, we talk. They also give back home. They also want to make sure that something happens back home. So there's a lot that we can do. So far, we affiliate ourselves with Nigeria.
Yeah. So, like I said, these are laudable, projects, ideas, and all that. However, I remember when I was still in school. I'm still in school now. Anyway, I'm still studying. It has been said that a good product needs no hard sell. But of course, there was another school of thought that said, no, even if it's a good product, it needs hard sell. People need to know that it's a good product. What are the awareness channels, or what are we doing to bring in all this laudable information? I didn't know that, for instance, in Nigeria can be here, maybe a doctor, you join the association, and before you know, you are impacting back there in Nigeria. So how do people, Nigerians in the UK and Europe generally, get to know about these things?
It's our duty. We have not done enough, and we need to put the blame on us. We need to research to find out, but we also need to reach out ourselves. So for example, those of us who are in those organizations, we have not done enough. We have not done well, and we need to do better. Why am I saying that? We need to reach out to a lot of Nigerians. We need to reach out to our own people. We need to make sure that we advertise. We need to make sure that we campaign. We need to make sure that we are visible. We need to make sure that we recruit members. We let people know what we are doing. We don't recruit people when they are in challenges only. We also recruit people when they are comfortable and doing well. So when you're saying you don't know that information, it's not your fault. It's our fault of those of us who are already in the organizations, because we should be doing better to actually make sure that these organizations exist, so that people can join us and give their own values and quarter to it. So I think there's still a lot of work for us to do in terms of making ourselves visible. But as time goes on, that would happen. We're getting there. We're gradually getting there. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done by those organizations to actually make themselves a lot more visible. There's places like there's NIDO UKC, which is Nigerian Diaspora Organization UK chapter. There's the other organizations like CANUC and all of that stuff. Central Association of Nigerians in the United Kingdom. You know, there's so many other organizations that are out there who are bringing Nigerians together. There's also another a UK chapter, chapter of NIDO, which is Nigerian Diaspora UK South. These are organizations, you know, who are under the same umbrella and have Nigerians. You know, I came out of NIDO UK South. I'm a member of NIDO UK chapter today. But the point is, the Nigerians, they're great Nigerians who are doing great things. You know, we have solicitors, we have Nigerian doctors in UK. You know, there's so many associations, but we need to actually make ourselves a lot more visible to make it happen.
Yeah, that's on the part of the participants now. Now, on the part of people that should get into it, which, for instance, Nigerians Nigerians coming to the UK, most time when they come here, their own is that I've jackpot to this place. This is what I'm looking at. They don't know that there are some other branch offs that will also help them to be able to achieve their vision, right? I always say that any human being that can exist, right, without interaction with other people and so on and so forth, is either a beast or a god. This was said by Aristotle anyway. You know, I like that very well. So the Nigerians that are coming in here, or our guys that are here, some people want to just run solo. It doesn't really work like that. So how do you, or what can you be able to tell, maybe from your own experience and all that they should come? There are organizations, even to the simplest of WhatsApp groups and all that can be able to, you get information, you know how to go, and it will help your jackpot dream, as the case may be. Jackpot is something. So what do you have to say about it? How do you advise them?
A tree does not become a forest. Yeah? And a tree cannot exist on its own in a forest. Other trees come together and they make a forest. Yeah. When you come into Nigeria, when you come into UK from Nigeria, number one, try, those days of we didn't have information is over. Your smartphone tells you everything that you need to know. Yeah. There's Google, there's all of that stuff. In each area that you find yourself, find out where are Nigerians in Kent, where are Nigerians in XYZ. You'll be amazed what kind of information you get. Look at, for example, Kent and Medway Association, which we live in. I'm a member of that organization. It has a lot more members than even some of those registered organizations. Yeah. If you see the amount of members you have on Kent and Medway, over 1,000 members.
Yeah, in fact, recently I learned that the organization, that is that WhatsApp stuff, it became full to the extent that is, of course, more than 1,000 members. Yes. So they're even trying to migrate to other bigger platforms like
because
that.
Now you have Mr. Badare, Councillor, Pastor Lola, Oyewusi, and all the people that are putting that forum together. They're working hard there. They're making sure that Nigerians are visible. They're making sure that businesses there advertise themselves. I got a man who actually runs a taxi firm. From that group. And I've met a painter, I've met a gas engineer, So there's a lot going on. So when you come into an area and you type in, where can I find Nigerians?
Exactly.
Log on, check. You don't have to say a word in there. Just find out what is going on in that place, and then you will need help. We need to be able to reach out to ourselves. Also, pride affects us a lot.
Oh, my
when we
goodness.
come in and we think, you know what, I don't want to mix anybody, I don't want them to know what I'm doing. No, you are alienating yourself. Be open. I have met great people today, the people that I call my family members, not the ones my mom and my dad gave birth to, but the people I've met. One of them is Akinto, one of them is Akintomori, and I keep on mentioning Akinto because
there's something about Akin.
You'll be amazed what some of us have done together.
Fantastic.
Okpe, these guys that we travel, this line of us, we do a lot of things together. The point is, how did I meet those people? I met some of them at church. I met some of them through other friends. Yeah. But today we are like brothers. The 9 of us carry ourselves and we go on holiday, we go to Egypt, we go and sit down. We laugh, we play, we talk, we advise ourselves, we pray together, we have a good time, we come back and we relax. Our wives are friends. You only start to know people. You see, you cannot be successful on your own. Trust me. If you think, oh, because I want to stand by my own, I'm going to be, you're wasting your time. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People need to be able to express themselves and be a lot more open. You have come into a foreign land. When you're coming from Nigeria, you've come into a foreign land. Yeah. And you want to make it home. You first need to identify with somebody like yourself who understands where you're coming from. You can't come into United Kingdom today and go and meet a Chinese man and say, oh, yeah, I've just come in from Nigeria, show me the ropes. He doesn't understand what you're talking about. Your cultures are not the same. You know, your affiliations are not the same. So how is it going to help you? Not to say that they will not help, but they cannot help you in, you know, I as a Nigerian, if I don't eat my Nigerian food, it's as if someone wants to kill me. Now, I was born here, I've lived here for a very long time, but I must still eat my pounded yam. I must still eat my lafu and my egusi should be standard.
That makes you international.
That is who I am. I can, everything all together, I'll join. However, I needed to mix with other people. We went to school together, and you'll be amazed how Nigerians can encourage Nigerians. We are a special breed, honestly. So there is no reason why a Nigerian should come into United Kingdom and suffer. We love helping. We are givers. You know, we help ourselves. We stand together as one. But you need to go. You need to take yourself out and go and find. Some people is by church. Some people is by their mosque. Some people is their sessions that they meet. Some people is work. But regardless of what, mix with other Nigerians to learn the ropes. And life will be easy.
It's very, very important. Okay, let's talk about how you relax. Because, you know, in all these things we have just said, of course, you and I know that it's not easy, right? Survivor mentality, career mentality, I want to be that, right? Some people are even looking at their cash flows, you know. Some people before they came, they had to, you know, sell everything down there, which was not even enough. They had to get, so some people are, as they are making money, they are putting it and just trying to get to a break-even point, as the case may be. So that brings a whole lot of stress, right? Now, outside this podcast, I do some other things that I emphasize on stress, you know. And one of the things I've been able to discover is that there's a stress mathematics. Stress plus additional stress is equal to distress. So distress is the inability to cope with stress, and that is why it's a derivative. Stress is a derivative of distress. What am I saying in essence is that all these things, you're running your shift, you're trying to blend your family, all these things together, aligning with your vision, they cause a lot of stress. So for you, this face I'm seeing is not stressed. So how do you relax to the extent that at least you can be able to combat stress?
I said something earlier. I talked about these 9 guys, Remy Odeyemi and Co. and Akin Tomori and all of those guys that we travel together. That is one way that I look forward to going on holidays.
Okay.
I have, like I said, I have 6 kids. I have a strong woman, my wife. And we have aspirations. That does not stop you from resting. Trust me, you would burn out one day. And then if you end up in hospital, all the dreams and things that you're trying to run after would have to wait till you recover. Some people don't recover, and that's the end of that dream. If you go to the graveyard, there are so many dreams that have been buried. Right? Because not because they didn't want to achieve, but the time was up. Now, what am I saying? I sleep. I love music. I sent a video of myself dancing and doing breakdance to some of my friends some days ago, and they were looking and thinking, are you okay at all?
No.
For me, there are bills to pay. I have loads of bills to pay. So when you see this phrase that you think is not stressed, the body is stressed. Trust me. But I have to rest. There is nothing that I do. I sleep well. You know, no matter what the problem is, God has blessed me one thing. If I close my eyes now and want to sleep, I will sleep. And that helps me debunk stress. Once I sleep, I wake up, I don't know where that energy comes from. I just think, okay, now it's time for me to face whatever has made me go to sleep. And I go for it. But you must exercise. You know, wake up in the morning, take a walk. People say, oh, I'm busy. You're not busy 24 hours. If you're in the hospital, you will now know you're not busy. Take time and rest. Take time. If it's a book that makes you relax, read a book. If it's you praying, or praise and worship and you want to sing, please do it. Take a walk. Take a half an hour, 1 hour walk every day. Even once you walk on your break, just say, you know what, I just want to take a walk to do an exercise.
Management by walking about.
And let fresh air come into my system. You know, I love cooking. You see my belly, I eat a lot. I love cooking, I eat a lot. So there's so many things that people can do to actually relax themselves. It might even be chatting with your friends. It might be going on holiday with your friends. Those of us that go on holiday now have made it a ritual that every year we must go out together once. And do you know what? Going on holiday doesn't have to be those £5,000-6,000 holiday. There are holidays as cheap as £200, £150. Take yourself out. Go and dine yourself. Why can't you pick yourself without your wife, without your friends, go to a nice restaurant and go and dine yourself? Sit down and eat. People think you're mad. You're not mad. You're sitting down, you're eating, you're just relaxing. Why don't you go out with your wife? Why don't you go out with your friends? Oh, Shara, let's go. Let's go and watch a movie together. Why? We just want to go and watch a movie. We sit down, we talk, we gist. It's that time to distress. Pray. Rest well. Praise and worship. Eat what you want. Go for some activities. If you want to swim, go and swim. These things are not expensive. The money the time you spend and money you spend on other things, these recreational activities that you do is 1/10 of it. It's not even up to 1/10 of it. I don't go to gym every day, but I walk. I walk every day. That's how I have that my watch. I walk every day.
Good.
But I have to sleep. If you're saying you're going to walk 18 hours out of 24, the recipe for disaster, recipe for sickness, recipe for illnesses. And when those illnesses and sicknesses come, you're on your own.
The shift can't even deliver you by then.
That dream has stopped. So instead of that dream to stop you, try and make sure that what wants to stop that dream is stopped. That's the illness.
Wow.
Relax. Do what you need to do. Look after yourself. Yes, focus on your dream. Make your money. Work hard. But it's not just working hard. It's working smart. Yes. Let me tell you.
Strategic
have
work.
5 jobs together. When you see the amount of taxes you pay, sometimes it's not worth those 5 jobs that you're doing. Don't let the flashy things and the greed. You're not competing with anybody. There's nothing is chasing you. You're the one chasing yourself. Let me tell you, all of us are not going to be millionaires. I am going to be. But not all of us are going to be millionaires.
Yeah.
Even the Bible says that the poor will be amongst you. Not everybody will be wealthy. But all of us can be comfortable.
Yes.
And what does comfortability mean? It's an individual definition. Some people live in a 10-bed house. Some people live in a 50-bed house. Some people live in a 2-bed flat.
Yeah.
But what makes everybody comfortable is different. Yes, I have friends who have a 12-bed house. I have friends who live in one room. It doesn't make them bigger or smaller in my presence. We are friends. But some of them are even better than I am. Those who don't have what I have are better than me. Why? Because they are rested. They don't owe money. They don't wake up at night like I do and start calculating and doing all sorts of stuff. It depends on who you are. But regardless of what you do, always take time to relax and rest and don't overstretch yourself because when you end up in the hospital.
So success at this point in time
is
now
definitive.
Is definitive. It's in perspective.
It is.
Wow.
What makes you? Some people they've raised focus on what is important. Give back is important. When God makes you wealthy, it's not for you alone. It's for everybody around you. Let's carry on.
That's great. Now there is so much heated argument about Kemi Badenoch.
Okay. That's my boss.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Good. So we should be able to have that perspective then. Most Nigerians, of course, generally it's immigrants, but at this point in time, I'm trying to narrow it down to Nigerians, right? Most Nigerians are afraid of what will happen in terms of their vision, their dreams. They don't have enough money to pay for longer stay and things like that. So in your own perspective, what do you think about what Kemi is suggesting?
It's a suggestion. It's not come to law yet. We also have to remember that everybody sees things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, nobody's stopping you from doing what you need to do.
Okay.
You've come from Nigeria.
Yeah.
You've come from India, wherever you've come from.
Yeah.
It didn't work there. That is why you've migrated. Or you saw another dream that you wanted to pursue.
Okay.
There are parameters which you have to follow.
Okay.
Yes. And if the parameters is that you have to be in the United Kingdom for 15 years before you become a citizen, then that's fine. That's Kemi's perspective.
Okay.
Keir Starmer has not said that's what's going to happen because he's the current prime minister.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But if they say that's what's going to happen, what still stops you from pursuing your dream? Yeah? That's before you become a citizen. Yes? You know, we have Nigerians in this country who have been here for years, who have done very great things for themselves and are not still citizens of this
Some
country.
don't even want it.
Yes. So why are we stressing ourselves on what has not happened rather than focus on what is important? Yes, okay, there's a cost to renewing your visa and it's expensive. I agree with that. But a typical example of one person, even though his name is not going well in the news as of today, is Al Fayed until he died. He was not a British citizen. Yes, but he owned Harrods. He owns Fulham Football Station, Fulham Football Club. But he was never a citizen of the United Kingdom, and he was a multi-millionaire. So why are we stressing? That is the law of that country. It's either you like it or you don't. Now, am I saying I agree with everything that Kemi Badenoch says? No, I don't. But it's a perspective.
Okay.
She's my, I'm a conservative.
Yeah.
She's my boss.
Okay.
That is her perspective, and that is what if that's what the party wants, then I go with what the party wants.
Yeah.
Does not mean I have to align. It doesn't mean that I agree with all of it. We all have an opportunity to give our suggestions, but the reasons why Kemi has said that, she has looked at it from another perspective. Now, how many? Let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
If our countries were working the way they were supposed to be working, how many? My dad came to United Kingdom, and at a particular point in time, my dad already had the time that he was going to go back. And many of our parents came here and they went back. And they went to give back to Nigeria and they believed that Nigeria was working.
Yeah.
If Nigeria is working, some of us will be back in Nigeria. Some of you guys that have come in will not come in. Some of you will invest here and go back. And we still have people like that in this country. And we have even Europeans who, for example, those who were born here, English people who have gone to invest in our countries and have come back to their own country.
Yeah.
So why can't we do the same thing? Why must we always look at the challenges and start screaming about the challenges? What about the opportunities? If the opportunities work for you, you don't even have to be here for 15 years.
Okay, Mr. Harold.
Yes, sir.
I want us to delve into a particular issue now that, for me, it's like opening up a can of worms. I need to drink water. You know, it's about marriage.
Okay.
Yeah. So most people, when they come here, you find out that marriages gets broken up because of maybe too much work issues, and of course back home in Nigeria the man is the head of the family and things like that, so many things, you know. So there's a lot to actually talk about. Some is because maybe the woman is the one that is controlling the means of their stay in COS issues and all that, and maybe she's working more shift and things like that. So in your own way, how can you be able to balance this scenario?
Okay, thank you. Now, I think we lay emphasis on when you come into the United Kingdom. Marriages in Nigeria break, and they've not left the country.
Okay.
Marriages in United Kingdom, whilst they're living here, break, and they've not left the country either. So marriage is a different perspective to everything in all of this. Marriages break regardless of who earns the money or whatever. Marriage breaks in different forms. People have made themselves United Kingdom. They are all citizens of United Kingdom.
Yeah.
They've married themselves. They've worked. They've enjoyed themselves. In every community, the Asian community, the English community, every marriage breaks. So let's not put failures to marriage because of money or because they've just come in and somebody had the power before and then the power shifted. And no, marriages break. However, we have this perception that when men and women come in, maybe the wife is one that has the COS and the man is, the roles have been reversed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's psychological. It's the man that is thinking it, and once he starts thinking it, it becomes a major issue. The things that we used to say together before, or look at your big head, becomes a major insult because the woman now earns more money than the man, and it becomes an issue. And they think the respect has been disappeared or has gone because the woman is earning more money than the man, and that pride comes in and it affects things. Also, it's also that the fact the man also feels that, hold on, when we're in Nigeria, you kneel down every month to greet me. Now we're in United Kingdom where they see the culture is different. You don't have to kneel down. That kneeling down does not mean you don't respect your husband or your husband does not respect the wife. The man feels, because now you're in United Kingdom, you don't respect me anymore. Now, I went through a divorce.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah. It was a very turbulent and terrible time of my life. However, it was not the fact that I was any more than my wife then or my wife was any more than I am. I am a happily married man today. If I come again as a man, I will marry my wife again. You know, my wife is strong, powerful, focus driven, if my wife becomes a multi-millionaire tomorrow,
Yeah.
I am ready to become a house husband. I don't want to work till I die. I'm sorry. If she gives me 10 million, let her go and work. I'll even back for her in the money. It's not a problem.
This
You
end
know,
of the family thing is becoming a
it's
hit.
not an issue for me. But the point is this. We need to start learning and understanding ourselves. We need to also appreciate that women are not our subjects. We are equals. You know, yes, the man is the head of the family. The woman is the neck.
The neck.
Yes, but we need to
once the
respect
neck
ourselves. Breaks, we're in trouble. The woman needs to understand her role in the house, so in the family, in the marriage. So does the man. But at the end of the day, the rules can be reversed at any point in time. When there is love and true understanding, what the woman ends or what the man ends or who the man is or what the woman is does not come into effect. What comes into effect and what comes into play is the love that we have for each other. However, we also have a problem amongst ourselves. What is that problem? We don't spice up our relationships.
Okay.
Because all we think about is, once I give you money, I pay the rent, I buy the car, and I pay for the food in that, I'm the head of the home. It becomes monotonous. It becomes boring. When last did you take your wife out?
Yeah.
When last did the wife take the husband out? You know, it's there's so many things that should happen. But when you are married and you have come into United Kingdom to come and work or to come and look for a new life, you need to sit down and talk about your plans together. You need to have a common dream together.
Oh, yeah.
You need to understand why we are together, we are doing this for our children, for ourselves, and for our future. The woman should not think, well, I've now come to the United Kingdom. Before my husband bought me a car and he drove the Lexus and I drove the Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Now I can buy a Lexus, you know, so you cannot tell me what to do. No. Oh. Let us look at it that we are together. Like I say, a happy wife is a happy home. Yes, but a happy home is also a prosperous man. You know, there's so many things that we should do together. Nobody is bigger than the other. Yes, the man has his role, and so does the woman. But also, when we bring that role together, it makes us a partnership.
So we need to actually interplay those.
We need to interplay those roles together.
Sometimes you as a man, maybe that particular day you are off duty or something, you need to maybe play the role of
it doesn't stop
a woman,
in
the house. And
what is the role of a woman?
Exactly.
The roles belong to all of us. We're a partnership business.
Yeah.
You know, in every business, like I said, these 5 fingers are not equal, but they are all useful.
Yeah.
Everybody has a role to play. There's no particular role for a man or a woman in the house. I'm sorry. I cook more than my wife cooks in the house because I love cooking.
Yeah.
But my children going to school today and their education, it was not me. It was my wife. My wife did everything. So is it because I'm not educated? It even got to a stage where my son, this same stubborn boy, went to school and told them in nursery that my father does not know how to read and write. Because I've never taught him how to read. Until I got the report one day, I had to, for about a week, I had to sit down with him every night and I would read to him. He went back to nursery and said, oh, my dad can read and write now. Wow. Why? Because all he saw was his mom doing it.
Yeah.
You understand? But now he knows I can do it.
Yeah.
So it's the same perception that we have in our minds where we think, oh, you know, that woman now, she's becoming very arrogant. Look at she's spending so much money on shoes. Is there somebody looking at her outside? She's becoming too assertive. No, we need to build ourselves up to a level where we understand ourselves, we recognize ourselves, we work together. I, as a man, and I say this, and I'm sorry if people think it's wrong, I always want to continue to be the head of my home. Yes. I want to continue to provide for my wife and my children. And I pray regularly that the Lord God bless me to continue to stand
to be the one,
that mandate that He has given me as the man of my house.
Yeah.
However, if my wife becomes a millionaire tomorrow and she says, Yemi, I have just made 10 billion, what do you want to do? I'll tell her I will retire. Take charge.
So men will automatically become jealous that moment.
For what? I didn't have £1 million and then now there's 10 billion in front of me. What am I jealous about? There's no need for it. You know, when we love each other, we work together. I'm telling you, I have met men. I mean, among these 9 guys that I say we travel again, they've influenced me on what they do. We as men, it is our duty to support our wives to reach their careers and attain the great heights that they want to attain. But the wife also helps you to get there.
Yeah.
You know, when a wife is at home and she's looking after the children and you are growing in your career, she's actually sacrificing for you to be able to make it.
Wow.
When you get there, give her the opportunity to make it too.
Yeah.
So far, both of you understand what you're doing. There is no jealousy or there's no problems at home. So marriage breaking is both the fault of the husband and the wife. Not one of them. It takes two to tango and it takes two to break it. So that's my point, sir.
Wow, that's great perspective. I'm still going to come back to the issue of marriage, but let's delve into relationship again, okay? By relationship, of course, I mean interaction and things like that. People coming in, or people that are already here, Nigerians that are here, talking about association, right? Now, what is the benefit of some of this association that we feel people should belong to be able to, help them realize their dream? What are the benefits of some of this association? And so, yeah.
So I'm a member of Nigerian Diaspora Organization.
Okay.
But I'm the chairman of Nigerian Diaspora Europe.
Great.
Now, I have learned a lot from that organization. There are many organizations out there. So I'm not talking in the perspective of NIDO-E. I'm talking about all other Nigerian associations.
Yeah.
You learn, you mix. You'll be amazed the kind of informations that come to those forums that you pick up on. Some people have gotten jobs via COSs on Kent and Medway.
Yeah.
Some people I have met two people. I've met a gas engineer. I've also met someone who now does his own transportation and has his vans, helps me with my my stuff when I bring them from Nigeria, takes me to the airport when I want to go. That's his business. That's what he enjoys doing.
Yeah.
We have learned, and some people pick up themselves. There's a lady called Dola, 4 Continents.
Oh, 4 Continents.
She's opened her businesses. She gets customers from Kent and Medway, and her business has grown. And she has 3 decent stores in Kent and Medway alone. There is always something to gain. Those are your people. Those are your brothers and sisters. Those are the same people that you share the same culture and values with.
Yeah.
They understand you. You understand them. You go into that culture, you can say, you know what, guys, I went XYZ. No, as a Nigerian, you should have done this and done that. This will work for you. This is what I did when I got here. It's experiences, it's information. So there's a lot you can trade. You can collaborate to do things. Yes, you keep on saying I should not talk about. I don't want to talk about these people too much. But the 3 of us, myself, I can. At one point in time, we called ourselves the councillors and the governor. We went to buy properties together. Yes, we bought a property in Nigeria together. We rented it out together. We will pick up ourselves and say, okay, we are going up north to go and look for properties.
That's good.
That was because we had common values. That was because we wanted to grow. Now, if the 3 of us were not together then, I would probably be tired to be doing it on my own. But going with them, we spoke, we learned from each other. One of them bought a house recently, and he called the 2 of us and says, you guys should come and see this house before I buy it. I want to have your opinion. He has his money. He's loaded. So he knows what he wanted. But he called both of us, and myself and Okpe, called us and said, oh yeah, come and look at this property. What do you think about this property? Give me your individual opinions. And we wrote the individual opinions to him because he wanted to see from our perspective. He could have done it. He could have not done it, but that is what friendship brings. That is what this association brings. And we continue to grow together. We meet people. We learn from people's experiences. We learn from people's mistakes. We learn from people's, prosperities. All of that stuff brings us together. I am not saying you should tell them to come and sit down in your kitchen, because sometimes familiarity breeds content. But at the end of the day, let us learn from each other. Let us be open to each other. Let us grow as a community. When we have a community, we are strong, and we will do great exploits. When I went into Essex, my store was the first Afro-Caribbean store in Essex. Now there are 21 stores in that area. There, Nigerians have come in, and other tribes have come in to actually open stores. Other people have done the same thing.
Retail passion is
yes, you will learn.
Get from
we will learn from each other. There's so many things we can do. Somebody can say, you know what, in my company, for example, Akedu that works for European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.
Okay, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.
I think I said AFDB before. I got it wrong. It's ERBD, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.
Okay.
That's what he works for. He will tell me today, there's so many times he has sent onto our forums. Even our church forum, the men's forum, that there are job opportunities here, there are internships here.
Yes.
If he did not put it on that forum, all of us will not know. Now, those of us that his friends,
if you don't belong to that forum,
you will not know. So some people have gotten jobs from there. Some people have been able to get employment from different forums. So there's always there's greater opportunities when we come together with a common goal to achieve things. So please, people should join the forums. People should join the organizations. Don't go in with your own agenda. Go in there with an open mind, and it shall be well.
That's fine. Then let's come to culture. Are we going to say that because people are coming, Nigerians are coming into the UK now, they will lose their culture.
No, I'm a typical Nigerian man. I'm a bushman. I'm a typical Nigerian man. I'm a Yoruba boy.
Yeah, see, and even the cap you're wearing is...
nothing is going to change that.
Is it filler or gil? Sorry,
It's
gil
filler,
is for
it's
women.
filler, it's filler, it's proper filler.
Yeah, proper filler. So,
that's not going to change.
yeah, do you have any strategy that can be adopted even that by people that are coming in here to ensure that their family now, maybe their children, and get to still feel that vibes over there? Because I mean, no matter how you look at it, we're still
okay. So there's a saying that says, when you get to Rome, you behave like the Romans. So when you're in another man's country, or when you're in another country, you learn what the culture of that country is.
Fantastic.
The whole family adopts that culture because they know to follow. So for example, when I was growing up, my dad's a military man. My dad would tell me to do frog jump, or you flog me. You can't do frog jump in London, you can't flog them, because it's not allowed, so you need to learn. But at the end of the day, what stops you from speaking Yoruba to your children because they're in London? Teach them Yoruba. Yes, you'll be surprised what Yoruba teachers are making in terms of money today.
Wow.
Teaching people Yoruba and Hausa and Igbo. Now, so what am I saying? Your culture is your culture.
Yeah.
They cannot stop you from practicing your culture.
Yeah.
The Asians practice their culture in the United Kingdom,
Yeah.
but they follow the rules and regulations of that country.
Yeah.
Yes. The Nigerians, we do in Nigerian Independence Day, we wear our Nigerian attire, we have Nigerian
Black
restaurants.
African heritage, something they do it.
The English don't eat pomo, they don't eat cow foods, but we eat it. It's our culture.
Yeah.
They don't eat squaw people, we eat it. So nobody's telling you not to practice your culture, but you need to also know the rules and the regulation of the country that you have come into. So it does not affect your culture.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. You see some Indian families, they'll sit down together and they eat on the floor. I do the same thing. I will fry akara every Saturday. I'll eat akara and ogi. That's how I was brought up. On a Sunday, I eat my yam and egg like everybody else does, and that's how we were taught in Nigeria. I see even my children will still wake up and see you, and they will prostrate. Good morning, Dad.
Wow.
Good morning, Uncle.
Yeah.
That is culture. It's not abuse.
No abuse.
But what I will not do is anything that against this law, because in my culture we used to do that. Does not mean it's right in another man's country. So you believe that. But what actually makes them Nigerian? Nigerian, for example, we are intelligent, we work hard, we study hard.
Yeah.
We respect our elders, we respect the rule of the land.
Yeah.
We like our food, we like our clothes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take that away from my children. It's my culture, it's what I've grown up with, and it's what has made me a different human being in the United Kingdom compared to everybody. These 5 fingers are not equal, but they are all useful.
So that can even be a transferable, skill and culture from you now to your children, and eventually from your children to the next generation.
100%.
So we should try as much as 100%. possible to still maintain that.
My children, wash plates at the age of 10 and 11. I train them to cook. All my boys know how to cook, and they have to cook Nigerian dishes because that's what I enjoy eating.
Wow.
Not to say that I don't eat chips and all the European food, but trust me, I like my Nigerian dish and I have to eat it.
Wow.
When I travel with even these guys, I take gari, I take kuli, I take peanuts. Why? Because I must have my gari in the sun. It's not cultural, but it's how I grew up to understand it.
Wow. So, if I may ask you, what are your achievements that somebody out there, my audience out there listening, can also be able to, grasp from, implement? People are coming into the country now. They want to know, is it possible to make it and all that? How? Okay. What are the achievements? How did you do it? How did you go about it?
I would. The question is a bit hard for me to answer in that way, but I'll say it the way I want.
Okay.
Everything I've achieved and everything I've attained, it's not an achievement by myself.
Okay.
The Lord God has allowed it to happen for me. So it's a blessing from God to me.
Okay.
I cannot accredit any achievement to myself because if God did not allow it, it wouldn't have ever happened.
Okay.
People can call it being over religious, but that is how I see it, and that's not going to change. But being practical, I'll give an example of one. When I started my food store in Grace, now let me make this open.
Okay.
I have run other businesses that finished, that went down.
That went down.
So I ran a cleaning business. I went back.
Clinic?
Yeah, cleaning.
Oh, cleaning, okay.
Business.
Okay.
When I left work, I went to start a cleaning business. And my mother, My brothers reported me to my mother then that this your son has started again. He doesn't stop misbehaving. He has left his job. He had a very good job in the National Health Service. He was a regional manager in the National Health Service and he has now left to go and start cleaning people's toilets. Are you sure he's not okay? Are you sure he's okay? But I told my mom, I said, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I went to the cleaning business and it was well and I enjoyed it. But I got very, very comfortable. The flashy things of life got into my eyes. I lost the true focus of that business and I lost everything. At that point in time, the whole money went. I was owing the bank a lot of money. In 2000, 70,000 pounds was a lot of money.
Wow.
I was owing the bank.
Yeah.
But I did not run away. I said to the bank, you know what, I will pay your money back. We went to an agreement, we had a conversation, and I said, today, I don't owe that money. But then at that same time, I also started running my food store. That food store has been on for going to be 25 years in August.
25
years in August.
Wow.
And that's when I left employment. And at that point in time, I went to the STGN to get that store, the first store. And the man said to me, you want to open an Afro-Caribbean store in Grace? Are you okay? I said, yes. An Englishman. I called him Dad. I don't see him anymore now because he's retired. Trevor Foster. That was his name. And he said, it's not going to work. I said, it's going to work. He said, English businesses in Grace have not survived. And you are now telling me to open an Afro-Caribbean store. It's not going to. I don't think I can give you the store. I said, no, I want the store. It will work. Yeah. I said, I'm going to sell European food too. He said, it's not going to work. We have Tesco and we have Morrisons. It's not going. I said, I want it. Boys. So we agreed eventually that he was going to sign me the contract. But he said he could not sign me a 5 years lease. He could only sign me a license for 6 months. After 6 months, I can come back and drop the key. So he did not see any hope for that business.
Wow.
And what I said to him that day, I can remember very well. I said, 25 years from now. No, I said 20. I said, 20 years from now, I will still own this store. Okay. I said, but we'll talk in 6 months. But you have to pay 3 months deposit because I cannot see it happening.
Wow.
And today, I have acquired more stores from that same store. And it's not because I am smart. It's not because I am more intelligent than anybody. But the grace of God has allowed it to happen. Now, what did I do and what do I want other people to learn from? Don't let people dictate what your future is going to be. Focus on what you want to do. When I got into that business, I saw that there was an opportunity to sell food. There is no how you can go wrong in selling food. You can't. You cannot unless
man must chop now.
Unless you are greedy and you are not going to focus on your business. There are people who have come after me who have done bigger and opened bigger stores than my one. But to God be the glory. I am happy where I am. God is taking me. Focus on what you do. You know you will come. Competition will come. Don't focus on the competition. It's good for you to find competition because it makes you sit up and it makes you learn the ropes more. But focus on what you are given, and make sure that whatever you have put your hands to, that you do it and you achieve it well. You know. And I started that. Then I went into property.
Property too?
I do property. I do a few things. I went into property. I started small, bought the first house, rented it out, bought the second one, rented it out. This is making sense. Pulled money out of it, built a property in Nigeria, pulled money out of the second one, built another property, bought another property in Nigeria. I thought, okay, my mom said to me, my dad said, are you okay? What are you doing? Are you coming back to Nigeria? I said, yes, I am. But I know I was not. But in my mind then was, Ilela Bosimioka, I have to come back and make sure. That narrative has changed my mind now, but that's a story for another day. You know? Yeah. So I did that, and I started to build on that. Now, some people will say, you're only guarding debt. That's fine. That's their own perception. I know what I was doing. I know what I'm going, and God has blessed the works of my hands. So I've been able to achieve that as well. What else? I bringing in food from Nigeria. Yes, I used to buy my food here before, but eventually I started to do. I have my own products on the supermarket shelves today. To God be the glory, it happened. Politics. In my area, I was my family was the only black family in Isle of Grain. It was not going to happen. People were thinking it will not happen. Chris said, do you want to? Yes, I was co-opted. Then I went for the election and I was uncontested. I applied for other positions in the past to stand as a local councillor. I didn't win it. But the one I won, I'm still there. So there's always, once you have put your mind to something, for me, I pray to God. God, this is what I want, and I am clear that whatever I tell God that I want, as long as it's in line with the Most High God, it would happen. And I go into it, and I focus on it. If my friend is driving a Ferrari, maybe it's not my time. I go and celebrate his Ferrari. I drive his Ferrari with him, but I still focus on my own dream. And that's what I will tell people. When you're coming in, Don't look at what other people are doing. Focus on there's something that God has put inside of you that is your own dream. That is what God has equipped you with. It might be selling water. It might be painting. It might be cooking. It might be frying food. It can be anything. It might be you being a doctor. It might be you starting up a charity. Whatever that God has implanted you, pray. Find that skill that you have and run with it, and you will prosper.
Basically, there's something I've discovered which you may want to talk about. People have this pride, right? That how can I be doing this kind of, right? In the trajectory of your becoming who you are, have you been in a situation whereby either people are talking about, look at this man. This man is doing cleaning, or he's pushing truck or whatever. Have you been in that position before?
Even today, I still go through it. Yes, even today, I still go through it.
To do something that people may look at as menial or something.
It's a life lesson. I like to wear suits too. Okay. Honestly, I like to wear suits too. I like to sit in an office, but I can't cope in that environment. It's not me. When I left the NHS and I was cleaning, I said, you get to a level where somebody has told you to come and clean their house up. And for the amount of money they are paying, and they start to talk to you anyhow, they shout to you, think, God, why did I get myself here? How? Me, that I'm more qualified than this person, and I'm washing his toilet and he's talking to me anyhow. That sets into your mind. But when you know where you are going, my dad said to me, he told me two things when I was growing up. He said, you see what others don't see because you sit on the shoulders of giants. And he also says, things and tools may harm me, but words can never hurt you. When things like that come your way, you know where you are going. I left the National Health Service to go and clean toilets. When I came from Nigeria, when I finished my secondary school and I came to Nigeria, I worked in Kentucky. And I worked as a security at McDonald's, and I was a porter at Safeways. I was pushing trolleys, and the people that were in my department when I was pushing trolleys, none of them were as educated as I was, and they were older than I am. And sometimes when I'm pushing those trolleys on the road, I used to hope that nobody saw me. Yes, today if they tell me to go and push that trolley, I will laugh. Why? Because it does not define who I am. It is a point of where I'm going. So let us not let pride affect the experience that we would have to take us to greater heights. Let us focus on where we are. Sometimes, God forbid, we lose everything. What happens? Are you going to say because you don't want people to see you, you will now go and hide yourself and die? If you have to clean the toilets to make sure that you feed your family and grow again and get yourself to where you are going, so far you have a plan for your future, you go and do it. There is no pride in labor. There is no pride that, because I am an accountant, and because I am a DMU, Ogunfemi, why would anybody be seeing me? Carry anybody? Today I deliver. When I get to the store and there's an order, I pick it into my car and go and deliver, and I say, yes, sir, and yes, ma. I am not interested in what they're going to say about me. It's their money that I'm interested in. So what does it matter? When I sit in the comfort of my house and I eat what I'm eating, I'm not remembering what they have said to me. Because I have a target and I know where I'm going. So at the end of the day, let people not let pride disturb them. It will happen. You will think about it. It would knock on your head. It's the negative thoughts. You have it every day, negative and positive thoughts. Let your positive thoughts always outweigh your negative thoughts. It would happen. If they sack you in a job, are you going to kill yourself? You have to wake, or they tell you that your contract is finished. Are you not going to go home and start crying? You will start looking for another contract. Whatever they've said there is gone. You have to move on. So please, I would advise people, don't let pride set into anything that you want to do. It will come. It's natural. But you have to push that away and focus on where you are going, because you still have far to achieve. You don't want to be like those who are in the grave, who had all the plans and never achieved them.
That's great. I believe that success is not a destination, but a journey. So I want to thank you for coming around. But before you go, I want you to give me your final words that will resonate, in the minds of our listeners and, of course, our general audience, as the case may be. People coming in, even families that are back home. Because the essence of this program is that even some families that are back home in Nigeria, they want to also see reasons to come reasons not to come, or reasons why people that have come are still here, or why reasons why people that have come here are not succeeding. So I will want to take your final words, Mr. Harold.
Thank you. For our listeners back home, there is nothing like somebody has not been successful. It is how they have planned their journey that matters. Is London, Canada, United States, is that where you have to be? Are you doing it because you have looked at what other people have achieved and you want to do the same thing? Or is it a plan for your future? When you actually decide that you are going to now do that, what are your plans? Have you got what it takes to go through anything that happens to you to be able to achieve that? Or are you just looking for a quick way out and you think, well, I'm going to get there, I will make good money, and if that doesn't happen, and then you start to get frustrated? There is one thing you have to always focus is where you want to be in life. There are people in Nigeria who are doing very well. There are people in UK that are doing very well. There are people in Canada that are doing very well. It depends on the individual person and where you are placed. What do you know how to do? Who are you? What are your skills? What have you learned? What do you have inside of you? What is your passion? That is what should drive you rather than going up and down. I am in United Kingdom today. Yes, forget that I was born here, but I have found a purpose. This is home for me because I enjoy, not so that I don't love Nigeria. Nigeria is also home, but I live here. My children are raised here. And I have done what it takes to be able to make sure that I have food on the table and pay the rent in my house.
Yeah.
The same thing can happen to anybody. They can do greater and better. They will do greater and better than I have done. So far they focus, and most especially they pray to God and let God lead them. Lastly, for those of us who are here, let us not be too fast. Time and chance availeth us all. Some people have made it early. Some people will make it later.
Oh, yeah.
Some people will make it in the medium term. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that we eventually make it. So let us not rush ourselves. Let us not look at the flashy things of life. Let us not be too competitive. Let us not be too ambitious. It's good to be ambitious, but not over ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
Because over ambitious kills you. It has happened to me. I've overexpanded in my businesses where it has affected me. So I hope that everybody that is listening to me would listen to a couple of things. One, be resilient, work hard, be focus driven on what you're going. Be prayerful. Either you're a Muslim or a Christian or whatever it is, just hinge onto God and know that the author and the finisher of your faith is with you.
Yeah.
Make sure you mix with other people and learn from them. Don't be arrogant. Don't be too shy. Don't be timid. Learn from people and mix with right-minded people. When I mean mix with people, don't mix with those who are going to do that which you know is wrong and say because I said you should mix. Mix with positive-minded people who can always bring you up. Don't look down at anybody. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Focus on your own dream. Work hard.
Yeah.
Plan your life and start ticking those things that you have planned to do. And by the special grace of God, everything that you've laid your hands on will prosper and you will do well. It is not a journey of a day. Yes.
Yeah.
The race is not for the swift.
Yeah.
So let us focus and do things well. But most especially, like I said, join these groups. Listen to Duanuk on a regular basis, where you will find different people who will come here and say different things that you will learn from.
Yes.
Tell God to open your heart and open your ears so that at every time that you're listening to this program, that which is for you will resonate in your heart and will help you grow and move towards your goal in future. Thank you very much for having me. God bless.
Thank you so much for coming around. In fact, it was difficult getting you on this program, but like I told my crew, I told them that any of my VIP that I get at the click of a finger, it means that they're not busy. But it took time to get you to this round. Honestly, I enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Harold. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, sir. Thank you.